Welcome once again. This is video lectures for Omkar E, and we are going through the video lectures of software engineering for BCA 403. And in the previous session we saw block 3 unit 1, which was all associated with software risk management, its implementation, the analysis, the planning and the contingency plans. And today we will be seeing is software risk management 2, that is unit 2. And in the unit 2, at the end of this unit, you will be learning these objectives. In today's session, we will be seeing is the introduction to the risk management and the use of a human resource management to avoid certain risk, how an HRM, that is human resource, is associated with risk. Alright. So, let us start with the introductory part. Risk is expected in business organization at the time of taking the projects. So, when a particular company is taking up some project from the customer, a risk associated with that project is already identified the time when it takes up the project. It says that it is seen that project manager requires to make sure that risks are kept to a lower level. See, we in the previous session we talked about the levels of risk, whether risk is going to be low risk, whether it is going to be a medium risk, whether it is going to be a high risk. So, when you are taking up some project, it is always seen that the risk level should always be a lower, right. So, keep as much as low. So, keep your risk as low as possible. It is found that risks involve following types, which can be negative impact risk and positive impact risk. It is noted that risk assessment comprises of risk identification, risk analysis, risk prioritization. So, it says that risk which is associated with your software has two kind of impacts. The impact of risk may be negative, and sometimes the impact of risk can even be positive. Alright, and this is actually comprising of three different steps. One is risk identification. You have to identify what kind of risk is going to be there with your software project. You have to analyze that risk, whether that risk is of a kind of a low risk, whether it is a medium risk, whether it is high risk, what is the impact of that risk going to be, how is the impact, may be positive, may be negative. You have to then see the risk prioritization. If you find that there are three risks associated with your plans, with your software planning, alright, then out of those three risks, which is to be focused first, of course you will be focusing with the risk which is at a high level. So, the prioritization of risk comes into the picture. Now, let us see the second topic, which is human resource and risk management. Alright, when you talk about human resource, we generally see people working in the company who are actually recruiting for the company, and we even see those people who are working with our software. So, it is not always the the people who is recruiting in the employees in the company. No, it even includes the entire human resource that you have. That includes your management department, that includes your technical department, your software department, or maybe your managing department. Alright, all that comes under human resource. So, let us see what are human resource and what are the risk management things. In software risk management, the role of human resource involves two parameters, alright, which is to be considered always. First is the shortage of employees. Here we see that certain times you will find the project being risky because you don't have team members. Alright, there are shortage of employees, there is always a shortage of employee. Now, when there is shortage of employee, let us say we have X task to complete. To complete that X task, you require 100 employees. Alright, but your company has only 75 employees to work on that task X. Then that shortage of 25 employees might lead to certain risk. Alright, so first is shortage of employees. Second is employee refusing to take any extra responsibility. Certain times what happened, because there is shortage of employees, an employee gets overloaded, right. Then in that case, if some extra responsibility is coming on their head, they will refuse that, no, I cannot take up certain things because I am already heavily loaded. I cannot take more amount of load on me, I cannot take more amount of work on me. Then in that case also, it is we will be having certain kind of risk. We won't be able to finish or complete our project on time. right. So these are two major things that comes across for software risk management in the companies. Let us see how to resolve those problems. To resolve the problems, people use cleverness to win employees and make them work on time with an extra mile for the organization. See, now when you have certain types of people who are employees who cannot work for the company in that overload environment, in that stressed environment, then in that case the people, the human resource at the topmost management or the middle management, what they will do is they will try to boost up those employees. They will try to win those employees by their talk, maybe by giving incentive or something which will help that employee to work for extra hours for that particular organization for an extra mile. The main employee, who is the first topmost management, also helps in reframing the job in order to reduce the delays in work done. So in order to there is, of course, because there is shortage of employee or maybe certain employees who is refusing to work more, right, then that will lead to delay in your project. So you won't be able to complete your project on time. To avoid that delay of the project, what they do is they reframe the job responsibilities. So certain employee which they find, the main employee, if he or she finds that this employee is going to work more amount of things, and can work more for the company, then I am going to, of course, give a hike to that particular person. Maybe I'll reframe his job, I'll give him more responsibility, I will give him a bigger title in the company, alright. So that reframing of job is also done by the main employee. It says that human resource in such a risk management will help cover how many types of employee? Regular full-time employee, labor personnel with and without their family, alright, both the members, full-time and part-time. They say that human resource always will find that certain employees which are working and are actually giving high amount of profit to the company should always be taken care. So in order to take care of certain employees who are actually giving a good profit to the company, then in that case you always have to take care of them. Then those employees are regular full-time employees, alright. If I have an employee who is a part-time employee and a full-time employee, part-time employee I find is giving a good amount of profit, but my full-time employee is also giving the equal amount of profit to my organization, then I of course have to take care of that regular full-time employee as well, right. So it says that regular full-time employee I have to take care. Then I have to take care of the labor personals, those who are laborers, the peon kind of, the clerk who is actually working for my company, who is giving assistance to my regular full-time employees, who is actually aiding all the services to my full-time employees. Then all those labor personals also should be taken care, and the labor personnel should be taken care with their family and maybe non-family members, both full-time and part-time. Those labor personals may work part-time for you, maybe seasonal, maybe yearly. Then in that case also you should take care of them. Human resources also serve as an important parameter in certain farming businesses with orientation and training for employees. It is said that a particular human who is working, an employee who is working for my company, needs to be trained in such a way that he or she gives good amount of profit to me. So what they say is they serve as an important parameter in certain farming businesses with orientation and training to their employees. So human resource, what they will do is they will give training to their employees. Now existing employees, of course everybody has to learn, right? Learn, relearn, unlearn, and all those stuff is always there, right? Learn, unlearn, then again relearn. So when you know certain technology, maybe you are right now knowing PHP technology, it might happen that after 15-20 years PHP technology would not be there, some other technology, some other language is there, alright. Then in that case, you being the employee of the company will take care that you are being tutored, you are being trained for some other technology which is ongoing, alright. So company only will provide you with training. So similarly, what human resource does is, those existing employees who are actually working for the company needs to be regularly trained. So they will keep some certain training sessions wherein they will train those employees, they will see that employees work for the company, they bring a better output, right. So they need regular training and orientations. It is found that risk specialist carries original focus on important reasons of risk, and those reasons are weather, disease, natural calamities and ways to deal with it. So it says that there are going to be certain risk, and this risk always focuses more on certain parameters which includes weather. Alright. So weather of the particular wherever my company is located, the weather, alright, should actually be very good, and the risk associated with that weather should always be manageable. Then disease, alright. This is, if somebody is going through some chronic disease, then we need to actually take care of them, you need to provide them with medical treatment, you need to see natural calamities and ways to deal with that particular risk. It says that risk management concentrates on human resource and human resource calamities, which will cover cases like divorce, chronic illness, accidental death, and impact of mixed relations on business and families. It says that human resource always should be able to understand their employee. Now employee might be suffering with certain chronic illness, certain illness which is coming frequently in its way, certain people who is mentally disturbed with the family issues like divorce, certain accidental death, or maybe certain impact of mixed relations in the family or with the business. Alright, then all such employees which is undergoing all these cases should be dealt very humbly. Alright, so what human resource will do is, they will actually boost those employees, they will help them come out of that trauma, those traumatic conditions, alright, and that always is where human resource will come. Now if you check this one, weather, disease, natural calamities, my human resource cannot actually take care of weather, or they cannot take care of disease, they cannot actually stop natural calamities. But yes, to avoid those natural calamities, they can work on that, right. Weather conditions, maybe they can work on, like if it is going to be highly today it is forecasted that rain is going to be very heavy, then in that case they have to take care that the particular employee who is coming from far away should be given to and fro services of taxi, right. Certain diseases should be avoided if they keep healthy climate, the cleanliness is there, right. Then in that case, because it is going to be very clean, right, hygiene is there, then of course it is going to be disease free environment, right. This all can be taken care only with particular measures which are taken care in general, but these issues are something which human resource must take care of for its employee, like any traumatic situation of a particular person, an employee going through certain mind illness, maybe mental problems, maybe stress, maybe family problems, then in that case human resource should help those employees. It says that the management team, not employees or the rest of the family, determines the paradigms that shape the human resource environment. So there is a management team who is going to decide the paradigms that shape the human resource environment. Alright, so management team only will see that what human resource management is going to do, what is the team as an HRM is going to do for its employees, right. So it is always a top management who decides up for the HRM. Managers choose their paradigms, alright. So managers, those topmost managers will choose their paradigms, they will see that this is paradigm 1, paradigm 2, paradigm 3, and they will see that which is going to work more with the employees, and that suitable paradigm will be chosen by the managers. It is highlighted that managers changes their paradigms where human resource planning, hiring, training, communication and discipline practices holds good for workforce. It is seen that managers generally tend to change their paradigms. For example, if XYZ, let us assume that one employee is working with the company since 50 years, alright, or maybe since 40 years. Now his son is approaching 20 and he too wants to join the company. Then in that case, because of those 40 years of reputation with the company of the employee, the manager will always think that this particular employee who is working since 40 years has been real loyal to the company. Then in that case they will always hire the son, right? And this is like a kind of we call it as hiring, alright, hiring of next consecutive family member, right? Then it even requires planning, because see, we cannot directly hire somebody. Only if certain vacancies are there we can hire them. So we need to plan out the hiring process and all. They need training. Of course, we cannot ask them, the hired person, I cannot ask him from the day one to work. I have to first train them, right? Then communication and discipline practices also should be followed, and managers from case to case basis can change those paradigms, right? It says that it is noticed that managers which incorporate their paradigms in business culture usually tend to reflect its uniqueness as its values. It is usually observed that those people who are using, those companies who are using the paradigms, the managers who are using the paradigms from case to case basis usually create a business culture which is very healthy, alright, and which is reflecting the uniqueness and its values. Now for example, let us assume that we all know something about Google, right? It is heard that Google when they are Google as a company usually have they have a very pleasant climate, and there is in the company there is table tennis court, there is sports available to them, indoor, outdoor, swimming is there, alright. And Google employee, if he or she is finding that today they are feeling a bit stressed, or maybe they are not able to work, they want to have a good nap, alright, then a quick nap and everything, the facility of bed and everything is available there in the Google company itself, right. So it is observed that all the employees who are not feeling good, or maybe they are distracted a bit, can go and enjoy the indoor games, may go and have a good nap maybe, right. Then in that case they are actually upcoming with a business culture wherein people would love to do job over there, right. So if let us say that we are working in some company, that company is not providing us with good amount of leaves, right. They are not providing us with any incentive, they are always scolding us, then that company, nobody would like to work in such company, right. So when you as a manager decide up some paradigm, it should be in favor of those employees who are working with you. So if you are giving them a favorable condition in a sense where they feel good, they feel safe, they feel really happy to work with your organization, then in that case you are actually building up a business culture, and that business culture is very essential for any company, right. It says that this kind of business culture always reflect to its uniqueness. So that brings a value, that brings a uniqueness to your business, that gives a value to your business or your organization. It further says that with the change of paradigms, management team result in alteration of business environment. So certain times if my managers or the managers of the company are changing the paradigms, the rules, the regulations, or they are bringing some shifting in the paradigm, right, then in that case we see that management, it results in alteration of business environment as well. So certain times if you are going to, you in the previous few years you were very liberal, you were being very friendly with your employees, and all of a sudden if you start being very strict with them, you start scolding them, you start giving them mental stress, right, and asking them to leave overtime, to do work overtime, then in that case you are actually spoiling your business environment. that business culture which was having its uniqueness, which was having its value, you are actually avoiding that business culture and you are moving towards a business culture which is actually deteriorating your reputation, your employee satisfaction ratio, right. So you need to, as a human resource manager, you need to understand that what your employee likes, whatever is unique to, a unique value as a core value of your business, you should carry out that particular procedure, right. But if you are bringing a paradigm shift to that core values, that those business culture, then it is going to result negatively in your business environment, as a business environment. And certain times if you are tending towards a good values, I mean inculcating some good values into your business, incorporating certain good values, maybe a remarkable values or remarkable uniqueness in your business, then it is going to give a positive business environment as well. So that business environment always depends on the kind of a business culture that you carry out in your organization, right. In this session we saw was risk management, human resource and risk management, and need of human resource. So what was the risk management, how we can see those risk management, what are its impacts, it is going to be high, low, level, right, the level of the risk and its impact on it, right. And we saw that how a human resource is actually associated with risk management. So it is not actually just the human resource, it is going to be the managers also, the middle managers also, the topmost managers, of course the topmost management also, and the associated risk with it, alright. And lastly we saw that why is this human resource required, why a particular organization requires a pure a healthy business culture to bring a healthy business environment, alright, what is the need of that human resource, right. In the next session we will see that what are the HR executive, what is an HR executive, how is he related to the resource management, and we will see the steps of those how an HR executive can work with a resource management and of course can help in avoiding the risk, alright, and can help in further risk management in a very, very positive way. So let us meet in the next session. Thank you. स्वाध्यायः परमम्